Now, we are going to be welcoming Nayan Parekh, who is an educationist, to the broadcast. Mr. Parekh, thank you so much for speaking to us here at Mirror Now. What I wanted to ask you is that the Gujarat government has notified rules. The Supreme Court had banned ragging across the country back in 2001. Why then do you think we continue to see horrific instances of ragging?
I feel that though it is banned, I think real crux is in how are you implementing it. It is like giving a diktat or framing a law. But actually, how are you implementing it is the key issue. So, though we all recognize that ragging is a major menace and a lot of young students suffer perhaps for the rest of their lives because of the ragging that they go through, I feel that not enough was done and still it was happening. And I think it is rightly brought out by you that in spite of the Supreme Court's directive, this kept on happening. And therefore, I consider that the Gujarat government has taken a step, and at least now the seriousness is conveyed. And I would only kind of like to see and evaluate these even more as to are we making it too stringent. But I feel that at least on the face of it, we needed to take some action. And I'm glad that Gujarat government is kind of taking an initiative and making it harder for people to go get away with that. I think in one that the proof of innocence is on the person who ragged. So in that sense, it is equivalent to a rape victim, where the kind of unless proven guilty, innocent is challenged. So I think that is why they are also taking it more seriously and almost putting it equivalent to a rape kind of a charge.
All right, Mr. Parekh, beyond this, how can institutions do more? Besides an increased level of supervision, what else do you think is needed?
I feel one is that the moment you keep some kind of a tight leash on this, you try to put those people who are alleged on some kind of a quick punishment. And now that punishment is really provided. And if you really execute that, I think the best thing that any new rule or norm can do is actually demonstrate that you are serious about it. And therefore, you see that the person who committed the crime is punished immediately, which means that he can't sit an exam. He might be debarred from the college. He might face a criminal charge. The burden of proving his innocence is on him. So with these kind of large measures, I think the message would go that a senior student who has to kind of be a mentor to the young one instead of ragging them, I think the message, once it goes very clear and loud in people's mind, I think these would start abating, which means that the more and more people get punished, I think the more and more there would be disincentive for people to do this, which means that people would know that if they do this, they've taken admission in engineering, medical college after such a hard kind of entrance test. And if they were to lose it over just some kind of a ragging impulse, I think that whole shift would start happening. And I feel that this is a beginning where that shift would actually happen.
I think that's very well said, Mr. Parekh, that seniors should be mentors and not bullies. Now, in such a situation where a student is going through ragging, being threatened, what do you think they can do at that specific point itself, when it's taking place?
I think that, Aisha, what they have done is that they have also perhaps gone on a harsher side, but they have said that if Aisha is watching and there is a ragging happening, then it is responsibility of Aisha to actually report that, which means that not only you can just not witness and do nothing about it, but you are also made a party to it. That, in a hostile kind of a situation, if there is a boy or girl who is getting ragged and if there are people around who are watching, then in a way they are not just silent spectator, they are also a part of what is happening. So in that sense, they have taken an extreme step of saying that even if you are watching, then it is your duty bound to report that. So if you see it and if you don't kind of report it, you are also in a fault, which is like the rules in the US that if you are seeing an accident and if you're a doctor and you're not giving a treatment, that you are also at fault. So in that sense, I think they are doing things which would change the circumstance under which it would happen. When it's happening, if there is somebody watching, he would feel responsible that he will have to report that. So they're also taking that step where actually the person who is committing that is under threat, but also people who are watching nearby and not doing anything are also responsible. I think similar way that the head of the college or institution or university is also responsible and cannot say that this was not my responsibility and perhaps it is some rector's duty. Finally, I think the more and more people who are responsible, and when it is happening, they are responsible, then it means that some of them would make an immediate call, and perhaps we can actually prevent this from happening. And I think that is the real objective of preventing it instead of giving punishment to the person after the act is committed.
Absolutely. Mr. Parekh, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for your valuable perspective on this as well.